I were to say Black Widow, what would you think of?
Marvel. Scarlett Johansson.
That's literally the next 3 words I've written.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course it is.
And what's the next one?
The Spider.
Yep. You want to just keep going? It's exactly what I've got written down. This is funny.
I don't think I'll get the next one.
Or maybe old Saint Olga.
Oh, yeah.
Who killed many, many people to avenge her husband.
Mm-hmm.
What about a female serial killer?
I definitely don't think of that.
This episode, we delve into the story of La Porte Ghoul, Hell's Belle.
La Porte Ghoul.
Yep. Belle Gunness of La Porte, Indiana. Yeah, female serial killers. Not...
I mean, more common than you think, but definitely not common.
They are more common than you think, but they are definitely not more like common. Happen less often than even like FBI investigators don't think it's possible for a female to be a serial killer. I think they're too soft and...
At the time or now?
Might have been at the time. I'm not sure about now, but yeah. And unfortunately, or I don't know if it's unfortunate or not, but men are serial killers. As statistically speaking, it's majority men. So yeah, anyway, this week, female serial killer.
That's right.
Oh, I mean, a couple of weeks ago, we had a few ladies of the blade who ended up killing a fair few people.
Old pirate girls.
Yeah. Anyway, so how you been, boy?
Yeah, I've been all right.
Cool.
Busy as heck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am immediately forgetting everything I've done over the past 2 weeks. What about you?
I've been pretty busy just with kid stuff, like kid sport and run around. My daughter is doing quite well hockey, so she's off to play for regional tonight, and in a couple of weeks she's off to Cairns to again play for regional. And
so cool.
Yeah, pretty good. She's doing really well. She cross country went through 2 layers of districts as well. So
she got to the next regionals.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
So she's doing all right. We probably should mention the lack of... I was going to say
the elephant not in the room.
Yeah, the elephant. I didn't want to call him an elephant, but
elephants never forget.
The elephant not in the room. We are down 1 producer this week. So
yeah, it means we're probably not going to be very, very succinct.
No. Well, when I say producer, he doesn't really produce. You do most of the producing as well and editing. He's more than just the...
Pull back the curtain, let's go.
He's just the on-the-spot fact checker.
He's a fact checker and occasional storyteller.
So let's get into this episode's story.
Black Widow. Do you know do you know the word black in any other language?
No.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. I didn't know where that was going.
Isn't noir black?
Yeah, I think so. Because when you talk about I know Spider-Man noir, it's like black and...
Just say Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man. There's a character, Spider-Man.
That's not what you said.
I said Spider-Man.
Okay.
Spider-Man noir is black and white, like a 1950s detective type of...
That sounds cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Such a cool aesthetic.
I'm actually really glad you brought that up because there is speculation, or it's reported, that Nicolas Cage has been cast to play Spider-Man noir in a TV show.
Hell yeah.
So that's on topic, boy. You're on the zeitgeist.
I'd watch that.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Did you watch that movie he had with what's his face? The one where he was playing himself, like the unbearable weight of undeniable talent, or something.
Yeah, uncanny talent. Something along those lines. No, I haven't actually seen that one.
It was okay.
Are you telling me you've seen a movie that I haven't?
I am. Yeah.
Jeez.
Welcome to Bizarro World, everyone.
Go watch Avatar.
I will not do that. And you said you weren't going to bring this up because you didn't have someone to back you up about that garbage film series.
But we're talking about movies, so...
Again, nobody's talking about that, are they? Oh, it made so much money. No one's talking about it. It's completely forgotten, like Game of Thrones.
I'm excited for the 3rd movie at the end of this year.
Oh, cool. I can't wait until you're 75 and it releases.
It's out this year.
Is it?
Yeah, they filmed 2 at once. They did a Matrix.
Oh, true. Yeah. I remember that now.
Yeah. They might have filmed 3 at once. I'm not sure. Anyway, Belle was born. Oh, jeez. And this is why we need Sean for...
Your immediate... Is it a... Is it French? Because that's your biggest weakness.
It's not French. It's like Welsh Norwegian. So Belle was born in Brynhild, which is Brynhild.
Yeah, I think you got it. Brynhild.
I know that because Blackstone has a castle which had a Welsh name, which started the same. Anyway.
Welsh is an easy language anyway.
Belle was born in Brynhild, Paulsdatter, Storseth in Selbu.
That really fell apart quickly, boy.
I'm trying my best. Trondelag in Norway.
Okay, cool.
So if you happen to know where those are, it's all in Norway. On November 11th, 1859, to parents Paul and Berit.
Cool.
She was the youngest of their 8 children. And at 14, she began working at the neighbour's farm, milking and herding cattle. She did this to save money to travel to New York City. And in 1881, at age 22, she immigrated to the US. Did you hear that too, that little buzz?
I did, yeah.
That was weird. While she was getting processed at Castle Garden, which apparently was a thing, they processed immigrants at like this old, must have been a Civil War fort or castle.
Yeah, I thought they did it. There is a famous place that they did it. I thought it was Staten Island, but
could be. I don't know. If only we had someone to look up Castle Garden.
If only I had a laptop right in front of me and could do that.
So while she was being processed for immigration here, she changed her first name to Belle.
Of the ball?
No, just Belle, like the princess out of Beauty and the Beast. Then she travelled to Chicago, where her sister Nellie had immigrated several years earlier. While living with her sister and her brother-in-law, Belle worked as a domestic servant and then later on also got a job at a butcher's shop, cutting up animal carcasses.
It was Ellis Island.
Oh, was it? Is that where Castle Garden is?
Maybe.
It is said she was good at this job because she was quite strong, coming in at 170 centimetres tall and weighing between 95 to 113 kilos.
Oh.
So she's a big girl.
Yeah, that's big.
And that's also Aaron's favourite thing.
What?
Foreboding information.
Oh.
She was a butcher.
I do love a good foreboding.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In 1884, were you thinking your favourite thing was big women? Or
I was going to be like, that's a pretty odd thing to say. And there's no evidence to substantiate that claim.
No. Foreboding information. That's your favourite thing.
Wouldn't say it's my favourite thing in the world, but I do love it.
You love putting in a bit of foreboding.
I do, yeah.
In 1884, Belle married fellow Norwegian immigrant Mads Sorensen. The happy couple started a candy store and would foster children.
Oh, this sounds like typical sociopath behaviour.
Yeah, lovely. Yeah. Lovely behaviour. However,
typical behaviour for a serial killer.
However, I probably shouldn't have said she was a serial killer at the start, but we'll get there. However, the candy store was anything but profitable.
Uh-oh.
And after a year of business, the shop burnt to the ground.
Mysteriously?
Luckily, the business was insured.
Yeah.
And Belle told investigators that the cause of the fire was an exploded kerosene lamp.
Okay.
Investigators didn't find a lamp, but paid out the insurance money anyway.
It exploded.
Soon after receiving the payout, the couple bought their first home.
Okay.
Lovely, right?
Yeah, sure.
Well, it was also destroyed by fire in 1898, which also had an insurance policy paid out.
Did that one get paid out? Of course it did.
Yep.
It's people like that make insurance hard to get now. Screw this person. Stop burning your house down.
126 years ago, but anyway.
Yeah. Things happen.
In what seems to be a series of unfortunate events.
Uh-oh. Here comes Lemony Snicket.
The couple lost 2 children.
I really wish I hadn't made a joke before you said that.
Cause of death was acute colitis.
What's colitis?
That is a digestive disease that can cause cramping, lower abdominal pains, fever, nausea, and diarrhea.
Right.
Just like really bad tummy ache. Or is
it like bacterial?
Could be like an inflammation of the intestines and the lower digestive tract. Both children were also insured.
They had life insurance policies on their kids.
I asked Kirsty last night if that was a thing, and she said, I don't think it's a thing nowadays, but it must have been back then. Both their kids had like a life insurance policy. So
yeah, right.
And the couple received large insurance checks after each death.
Is the idea that the kid's going to make money when they grow up?
I don't know. I don't know how it works.
Because that's the point of life insurance, right? It's like you're covering the money that they would have made for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Odd.
It's also worth noting that colitis can present the same symptoms as poisoning.
Okay.
That was something that was mentioned, yeah.
There's no evidence of that? Or
there was no evidence of poisoning, but...
okay. I think we'll look back on this in a little while when we know more about it.
Mads also had a life insurance policy.
Mads.
Mads,
you're going to die.
There's nothing suspicious about that, is there?
Oh, Mads, get out of town, bro.
And Belle encouraged him to take out a second, larger policy.
Yeah, this was a thing. It comes up in a bunch of different stories where, like, you could get multiple life insurance policies on the same person.
And on July 30th, 1902, Mads came home with a headache. So being the loving wife Belle was, she gave him some quinine powder to help with the pain. Later, checking on him, Mads was dead.
I don't think that was any painkiller, Mads.
On that day...
I guess it did kill the pain.
Yeah, you're right.
He's not in pain anymore.
On that day, by coincidence, Mads' first insurance policy was to expire, and the new larger one was to go into effect that day. So he had 2 active life insurance policies.
On that single day. Oh, I think it's unfair to point that out. It's just coincidence, How he died today. Oh, no.
And Belle was able to collect the payout on both policies. What a stroke of luck.
So they've had like 6. So she now has been the beneficiary of 6 insurance claims.
Yep.
Business, house, 2 children.
Husband.
Both on the husband.
Yep.
Sheesh.
She must
be pretty wealthy by now.
She made on those 2 policies, she made a total of £5,000.
That's probably the equivalent of like $8 billion now too.
Not quite, but I did do I did actually went and do the conversion.
Yeah,
and in today's money, it's about 850,000.
Okay.
With that large sum,
it started at 5,000 and now it's like 850,000.
So yeah, I had to do the whole pre-decimal thing. So I think £5,000 was equivalent to about $10,000, and then from there I was able to go from 1902 to 2023, 850,000.
Aussie or US?
I was doing an Aussie conversion. Okay. So with that large sum, she moved to LaPorte and bought a pig farm. So she was still in the Chicago area for all that.
Yeah.
And now she's moved to LaPorte.
And bought a pig farm.
A pig farm.
Pigs known for eating everything. Everything.
A year later.
Everything.
A year later, on April 1st, 1902.
April Fools.
Belle married Peter Gunness.
Was it a joke?
No. Oh. Peter was a widower with 2 young daughters.
When did April Fools start? Okay, so she married a dude with 2 daughters.
Yep. And after a week after the wedding, while Peter was out of the house, Peter's infant daughter died of unknown causes while in Belle's care.
Wait, both of them or one of them?
Just one.
Right.
A week later.
After they got married?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Also April Fools from the Middle Ages. So, okay, did this child have a policy?
He didn't say, but I'm going to maybe hazard a guess and say possibly.
Yeah. Seems like that's her modus operandi.
8 months later, what do you think happened?
Did he die or did the other girl die?
Tragedy had struck the Gunness household again. Peter died.
Come on, man.
Authorities were told about how Peter had reached up to grab something from the top shelf when a sausage grinder fell, hitting Peter on the head and killing him.
Okay, yep. I thought that was going to end with and a sausage fell on him, but no, sausage grinder is a bit...
Big, heavy...
Yeah.
Monk.
Oh, mein Schnitzel machine. It's not Schnitzel Wiener was what I was going for, but you got the joke.
It was funny. It was still funny. The coroner described the incident as a little queer, but believed it was an accident.
I mean, to be honest, like what year was this again?
1902.
Oh, okay. I was thinking it was like the 1800s. No, people died all the time back then for silly stuff. Like maybe it's not that weird that this woman had like 2 dead husbands, 4 dead children, like 3, yeah. And like stuff burnt all the time. Remember our episode about the London fire? Like, yeah, fires happen. Maybe this wasn't that weird at this point.
The Laporte authorities were unaware that this was Belle's second marriage and what had befallen her first husband. If they had known...
Yeah, maybe they would have cottoned on to what was happening here.
She did collect £3,000 of insurance money for Peter, though. So, another life insurance.
That's another like $500,000.
There may have been one person who was catching on to what was happening.
Yeah.
And that was one of Belle's foster children, Jenny Olsen.
Right.
Jenny allegedly told her schoolmates, "My mama killed my papa. She hit him with a meat cleaver and he died. Don't tell a soul."
Right. That's oddly specific for like telling someone.
Soon after that, Jenny disappeared. Belle had claimed that she sent her to a school in California.
Oh, no. She's in the pig pen. Oh, Jenny. Should have kept your mouth shut. I'm sorry.
How you feeling about this so far, boy?
I don't like this woman. I don't think I'm meant to, but like, it's pretty, like everything she does seems to go horribly wrong. It's all very suspicious.
It's kind of why I was telling you I was getting a bit of a Dan Siegels feel about it, just like one after the other, just like, why is this still happening?
Yeah, what are the police doing?
Yeah.
Apparently nothing.
Not long after Peter's death, Belle would start placing ads in 3 Norwegian newspapers in the American Midwest. The ad stated that a wealthy widow with a farm was looking for a good, kind, reliable man to marry. Right. She's putting out love ads, putting out...
in Norwegian-specific newspapers.
Well, she was a Norwegian immigrant.
But like, just odd that in America in the 1900s there was still...
3 Norwegian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, we were like, the Laporte police were not aware it was her second marriage. Like, yeah, sure, it was hard to get information around back then. It's still the 3rd person in the family to not be there anymore. 2 are dead and one's just disappeared. Like, how do they not notice?
Oh, well, they come around going, well, we haven't seen Jenny for a while. She's like, I sent her off to a boarding school in California.
Yeah, I guess
like,
how are you going to check that?
Yeah.
And people change their names all the time.
You can't just send off an email and, is this person at this school? Like, probably quite a cost for the police to actually send someone there.
There have been Telegram at this time? There would have been, right?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, there would have been. It was the 1900s. Yeah.
It isn't known the exact number of men that went to the farm, like who responded to the ad. Sorry, let me try that again.
So just thinking about it, this is old school Tinder.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Like honey looking for babe.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it isn't known the exact number of men who responded to the ad, but it is known that
2-time ex-widower, DTF.
But it is
looking for 3rd.
But it is known
must be clumsy.
But it is known that many men went to the farm in hopes of marriage. And what would play out next was nearly exactly the same for all of them.
Oh, no.
They would withdraw large sums of money, not really tell a lot of people where they were going, and their families would stop hearing from them soon after, and they disappeared from the face of the earth.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what you're insinuating is that she's giving them the old glack in the head.
She's offing them, when they get there. Maybe 1 or 2 nights or a week there and then offs them and then waits for the next suitor to call.
And you said you don't know how many men
responded to the ad. But
is that because there was so many they can't count or because they just didn't keep track?
They just don't know how many people have responded to the ad. Right, but they know a lot probably had shown up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so weird that people would just be like, oh, yeah, I'll go check out this bird.
Well, you got to remember a lot of it went on to later on. I don't actually go into it, but a lot of the men responding were bachelors or widowers themselves.
Yeah.
They had probably a large sum of money themselves. Here's this woman who's offering an attractive lifestyle on a farm and a business opportunity, looking for marriage.
Right. Like, I may as well give her a look.
Yeah. Let's go out to the farm and spend a week or 2 there and
go out to the farm and have a sniff around.
Apparently, with the corresponding in letters that she would send, she was, pretty seductive in that as well, like so.
Okay.
But remember, she's, she's still like, I wouldn't say like she's not hard, but she's,
Yeah.
she's built, 95 kilos.
Sturdy.
Yes, probably 7'9", 7'10".
Chucking pigs around.
So these men would bring like trunks with them as well, like because he didn't have suitcases, and it was said that she was quite able to pick up these large wooden trunks easily. She's probably throwing hay bales around.
Those things are heavy if you've ever picked up a wooden trunk.
So she was quite strong. When questioned about the men who came to visit her, she would acknowledge that she knew them, that they'd visited, but they all left her. Just like Henry Gertholt, whom she'd told had gone off with horse traders to Chicago. So like when people were asking like, oh, what happened to this fella?
Yeah.
Oh, he left with these other guys to go do something else.
Sell some horses.
Yep. John Moe of Minnesota, who answered the ad in 1906 after corresponding for several months, withdrew a large sum of money and visited the farm at LaPorte. And no one saw Moe again.
And he was never heard from again.
A carpenter who did occasional work for Belle on the farm observed that Moe's trunk remained at the house, along with more than a dozen others.
Okay. A dozen. I just don't.
And this is 1906, and then we had Peter died in 1902. So this is only like in a 4-year period.
So she's killing like 3 people a year.
Possibly, yeah.
That's a lot. Like, how do people not start thinking, hey, why do people keep going to this place and then never coming back? I guess, like, how would you know? How would you know?
I don't know how close her farm was to, like, say, a large city. It could have been out of the way,
Yeah.
One man actually survived his encounter with Belle.
Uh-oh.
George Anderson. He awoke one night to Belle leaning over his bed as he slept. George was so startled by the ravenous expression in Belle's eyes, he left immediately.
Good call, George.
And that's all we hear from him. We didn't hear.
Nobody ever asked him later.
No, he didn't report anything. No.
Well, if he didn't report it, how do we know about it?
He might have said something after.
Yeah,
the story
must have eventually found out.
Yeah. So Belle also started having issues with a farmhand by the name of Ray Lampier.
Okay.
He had romantic feelings for Belle and resented all the men who showed up at the property. It's believed the two previously did have a relationship, but Ray left in a jealous rage after Andrew Helglillian arrived at the farm in late April.
Okay. What happens to Andrew?
So Belle went out and sought out an attorney in LaPorte. She said that she had fired Ray and that had caused him to go mad. She also claimed that she needed to make a will because Ray had threatened her. This is the farmhand, remember?
Yeah.
The man is out to get me. I fear one of these nights he will burn my house to the ground.
Yeah, okay. I don't think that's a worry for you, love.
Belle left the attorney's office and bought toys for her kids.
Okay.
And 2 gallons of kerosene.
Well, you need 2 gallons of kerosene. Who doesn't have 2 gallons of kerosene just hanging around?
Well, that's what they put in their lamps.
Exactly. It's totally normal. Yeah. It's actually pretty bad of you to even mention it, boy. Why would you even bring that up?
Later that night, in April of 1908, Belle's home was destroyed by fire.
What are the chances? What a coincidence. This poor lady has had the worst life, and here you are telling us that she's a murderer, and she just keeps falling in love with people that die, and she just keeps happening to have her house burned down.
All these men leave her.
All these men keep coming and deciding they don't like her and leaving forever and never speaking to their families again because they're so upset. And you're here going, oh, she bought some kerosene and then her house burnt down. How dare you?
When the authorities could get to site to investigate, they found the bodies of 3 children and a woman.
So now she's dead. You proud of yourself?
Strangely, the woman's body was missing the head, though. Another man had come to town.
Ray, what have you done?
Exactly. Another man had come to town, but not responding to the ad. He was looking for his brother who'd gone off to the farm looking for love, but instead become a world champion in hide and seek.
He's never been found to this day.
Now, this guy's name is ALSE. Would you call that like
Else?
Else? Yeah.
Yeah.
Else Helgaglian had suspected his brother Andrew was murdered and had a sticky beak around the farm
Right.
after the fire and Belle's death.
Probably smelt pretty bad at that point.
When they searched the property, they found soft depressions inside an area that had been the pig pen. When authorities dug it up, they found a sack, and in the sack, 2 hands, 2 feet, 1 head, which had quicklime stuffed into the mouth and ears. This was unfortunately Al's brother Andrew. He was able to identify him. So quicklime.
How long had he been down there?
Well, not sure.
So why just the hands, feet, and head? Are those just like the bits that pigs won't eat? Like
Possibly. I don't know. Lots of bones in those areas.
that's very odd.
In the next 2 days, investigators found a total of 11 burlap sacks which contained body parts with loose flesh that dripped like jelly. All the bodies found were killed the same way. Blunt force trauma to the head, then decapitated, then the arms were removed at the shoulders and the legs at the knees. Much like a butcher, right?
How many bodies did they find?
They found 11 sacks. So they didn't say how many bodies were found, but they found 11 sacks of
Jeez,
body
this poor
parts.
woman bought a farm full of dead bodies and then burnt to death in a fire.
The authorities found so many sacks that they actually stopped counting. So maybe they found...
I feel like you probably should count, guys. Like, come on. Oh, we got to 12. Who can count higher? We haven't made numbers higher.
As lucky as they were to be able to identify Andrew, most of the other bodies couldn't be identified.
Yeah. We decayed too much, right?
But they did manage to identify the body of Belle's foster daughter, who, air quotes, was sent to school in California, Jenny Olsen.
Oh, Jenny.
You were right. She was in she was found in the pig pen. With
What are the chances that boarding school was in the pig pen?
Originally, the newspapers reported Belle as a heroic mother protecting her children but perishing in a house fire.
Yeah, cool.
But they soon had to start retracting and amending those statements after the gruesome facts of the murders started emerging.
Yeah, it becomes pretty clear, doesn't it?
And she was labelled the Black Widow,
Yeah.
Hell's Belle, the Indiana Ogress, and the Mistress of Castle of Death.
Man, they were just better at naming things back then, weren't they?
They had really good nicknames.
I guess you got more time, but yeah. Like, serial killers had great names.
My favourite is the Indiana Ogress.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Indiana Ogress.
Reporters would describe her home as a horror farm and a death garden.
Yep.
Onlookers would flood to the site.
Of course they would.
Apparently up to 15,000 people a day as investigators uncovered sacks and tried reassembling remains.
Oh, so they're just like standing there watching this happen.
Yep. Like putting body parts together
Man,
and stuff.
there really wasn't anything to do back then, was there? Like, hey, boy, you want to go down to that farm with all the dead bodies and see them pull them out of the ground? All right, cool.
No wonder they had a world war a couple of years later. Like, there's nothing to do.
Oh, so bored. Why don't we just start World War?
The Titanic sunk. Oh, that was a couple
That was
of
in
years later.
between.
Yeah. Anyway.
Wait, was it?
No,
that was pre-World War
This is
I.
1908, so not quite.
The Titanic was 1912.
Yeah, not quite.
That was pre-World War I too.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that big ship that we were going to go down to the boat.
Yeah, it's not ready yet.
It's gone.
Yeah, it's not ready yet. Let's
Never made it to New York. So
hey, let's go down to the horror farm, the Death Garden. Let's go check that out. That sounds fun. It became a local and national attraction, so much so vendors sold ice cream, popcorn, cakes, and something called Gunness stew. Actually, yeah, I know, right? I know.
That's a bit distasteful.
Oh, give me a big bowl of Gunness stew, please.
Give me a big bowl of that dead guy. Oh.
I don't think they were making the stew out of...
Well, yeah, obviously, but like that's the insinuation, right?
Yeah, I know. It's a bit gross.
Just, they're going to see these dead bodies. There were interesting things. Like, remember I talked about that crash at Crush, the two trains they ran into each other? That was in 1896.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, they were also going to see interesting things.
Yeah. This was interesting. You hear about...
Definitely interesting.
I probably wouldn't go personally. I
don't think
remember these people went to public executions.
Yeah, true. I mean, not at this time, right? They'd ended by then, hadn't they?
No, they were still doing guillotines in France, public executions in France.
Yeah, but that's France.
And I'm sure they were still hanging people publicly in 1902. When was Google the last public hanging? I reckon it's going to be in the 30s. I hate the 30s.
1936. I hate the 30s. Oh, you just can't go to a public hanging anymore. God, this is big government. I'm sick of this.
And when was
telling me what I can do?
When was the last public guillotine? Because remember, Christopher Lee saw that. So that's probably in the 30s, maybe early 40s as well.
The last public guillotine execution was 1939.
Yeah, there you go.
But the last actual execution with the guillotine was 1970.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the last guillotine execution happened the same year Star Wars came out.
How do you know that?
Because
and why are you linking to Star Wars?
Because it was one of those things that's interesting things that happen at the same time that you never would have thought of.
All right. Okay. Fair enough.
We've talked about that on this show.
Yeah, I'm sure we have. Yeah. I just don't remember the guillotine across Star Wars.
The last guillotine execution was 10th of September 1977.
Yeah, Star Wars came out 78, didn't it? A New Hope.
May 25, 1977.
There you go. That was before.
So same year.
What about Ray Lamphere? Lamphere, Sphere, whatever.
Which one was he?
He was the farmhand.
Yeah. He's absolutely getting stung with this, isn't he?
Well, he was arrested and charged with arson and denied knowing anything about the murders.
I've never even heard of Belle.
Ray would fall ill with tuberculosis not long after being sentenced and would offer up a deathbed confession. He changed his tune and sung like a sick canary. He admitted to a fellow inmate that Belle had killed 42 men.
Oh.
She would spike their coffee, bash their heads in, cut up the bodies and put them in sacks, and he would do the planting.
Oh, why? Why would you get involved?
He was in love with her, remember?
Okay. But if Bree's like, hey, I got this this bag of body parts, can you put it in the yard? I'm probably going to be like, no, actually. I don't think I will do that.
Yeah, rightio.
I guess I don't love her enough.
No, yes, you don't. One of the wedding's off. You wouldn't help but dispose of body.
Sorry, I didn't pass the sack test.
Apparently, one of the things too that the neighbours would notice that Belle would spend a lot of time at night in the pig pen.
Well, she just loves her pigs. What are these accusations? This poor woman.
He also confessed to taking Belle to the train station, and she had taken a train to Chicago.
Okay.
This is interesting, as the headless body of the woman found in the house apparently didn't match the size of Belle. It was 5 inches shorter.
Are they suggesting that she went and found a person to bring back?
Also, in 2008, DNA testing of letters sent to murder victims, lick the envelope, it provided an inconclusive match with Belle's remains, or because of the age of the letters, it was unable to be tested. So
they couldn't prove it was her body.
They couldn't prove it was her body, and they couldn't disprove that it wasn't her body either, type of thing.
Yeah.
It's speculated that the body found in the basement is that of Belle's housekeeper, planted in the basement to fake her own death.
But the kids were definitely hers?
Yeah. Oh. So there was a bit of conflicting stories when I did my research. One was saying that Ray had nothing to do with that and that he drove her to the train station.
Yeah.
There was another bit of research information that said that Ray confessed to...
Oh, hang on. So the idea is that she took the train to Chicago
and planted the body.
Because she was leaving.
Yes.
Right. I thought, for some reason, I was like, she went to Chicago to get a woman to kill? What?
No. They killed the housekeeper and the children.
Yeah.
Planted the bodies and
then she went off to Chicago to live a new life.
Yeah, she faked
probably as Al Capone's wife.
She faked her death and disappeared. Now, one of the other things that Ray apparently confessed on his deathbed, he confessed to killing Belle and the children and dousing their bodies in kerosene.
Right.
I think he was trying to make it adamant that she was definitely dead and not running.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, one of the other confessions, he apparently said it.
Yeah, that he sent her to Chicago.
Yeah.
Chicago.
So why would she fake her own death?
To get away from the heat.
Well, there wasn't really any heat on her though, was there? Right. Well, remember Else? He was threatening Belle with showing up to the farm to search for his brother.
Right. Okay.
So she kind of went, well, this is time to get out. Allegedly.
Yeah, again, no real evidence here.
No.
Except all the dead bodies.
No, this would give her reason to escape and start again. It's not really conclusive to whether Belle's life ended. For 20 years after the fire, people have claimed to see Hell's Belle, but none of the sightings were ever confirmed. Eerily,
of course they weren't.
In 1931, a woman named Esther Carlson was arrested in Los Angeles for poisoning a Norwegian-American man and attempting to steal his money. She died of tuberculosis while awaiting trial. Many people couldn't help. Yeah, I know, weird, right? Many people couldn't help but, notice she bore a striking resemblance to Belle Gunness in features and size. Suspiciously, she even had a photo of 3 children, that looked a whole lot like Belle's children, and the photo was over 20 years old.
Why would she keep a photo? She killed them. I mean, like, I'm convinced this is her, obviously. But, like, why would she keep a photo? She obviously didn't like them.
I don't know.
I guess I'm trying to get inside the head of a serial killer.
Yeah. Good.
Maybe don't think about it too much.
Good luck. Let me, and that's it. That's the story. That's all I've got.
Yeah,
fact-wise.
right.
But let me bring up a photo of Belle and Esther.
Oh, so there's a photo of both of them?
Yep.
Okay. I mean, I feel like this is going to convince me.
What was Esther's last name? Carlson. And let's see what you think, boy, of the two. Remember, there's like a 20-year
gap. Yeah, so she's 20 years older. Yeah.
And it's just the face. It's not like the size or anything like that. But yeah, people said that her size was eerily
similar.
Similar.
So I will superimpose these photos.
Just have to do the little one here.
Oh, that's so her. That's 100% her.
You reckon it's her?
Yeah, no way. No way that's not her.
So you subscribe to the fact that she faked her own death and disappeared off to start a life again?
Yeah, she Jack the Rippered it.
Yep. So yeah,
That's absolutely her.
There's been a couple of pop culture references. I think there's a 2022 movie, The Farm, which is basically based on events of Belle.
Basically, loosely.
Yep. I kind of watched the trailer for it, and it really didn't give me, like, it was almost set modern day, like backpackers going into the farm. I'm like, this doesn't seem like.
Yeah, it's probably just like, the story, but not really.
Yeah. So yeah, that is the story of one of history's most prolific female serial killers.
42.
Apparently 42. They found those sacks, well, they stopped counting, so they stopped at 11. But yeah, Ray apparently confessed to 42 murders. And I think that's not including the 2 husbands, which unlikely accidents at the start of her life, or she often
there's a pattern there.
She often for the insurance money. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Ugh.
So if Bree ever convinces you to get a second insurance policy and they're going to overlap.
They start on the same day. Yeah, I'm not going to.
One finishes and starts. You can come stay at my place for that day if you want.
Thanks, boy. You know what? For that, you can be my beneficiary.
Okay, please do that.
If I die under suspicious circumstances, trust no one.
It was Bree.
Especially John.
So that is the Hell's Bell, the Laporte Ghoul.
What was the Indiana Ogress?
The Indiana Ogress.
That might be the episode name.
Okay, cool.
The Indiana Ogress in the red corner.
Just have Smash Mouth playing in the background.
Somebody once. My favorite meme at the moment.
Oh, really?
I love the Somebody Once Told Me memes.
Okay, I don't think I've actually seen it.
So it's just like what I just did. It starts with some, then a long pause, and then whatever's happening happens. Buddy.
Drops on the beat.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, well, that's the episode.
Meme chat.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for...
That was a good one.
Having my voice in your ear holes.
Lovely way to put that. Watch out for fires in your home. This has been Cheeky Tales. You can find us on @CheekyTalesPod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'll be posting some supplemental images. Absolutely, we'll be posting that side by side of Belle and Esther.
Yeah. Get on there and tell us if you think it's the same person. Like, let us know if you subscribe to the story that Belle and Esther are the same person, that she was just unlucky in life, or she was, in fact, I think it's pretty well known that she was a serial killer.
Are you like John and you're happy falsely accusing this woman, or are you like me and you see the truth? We'll put up a poll, I think.
Okay, cool.
Anyway, we'll be back in a fortnight. Sean won't be here again. We will be, though.
Because we love you.
Very much.
Sean doesn't.
Sean's not a fan. All right.
Good night, chiquitos.
Good night. Even though it's clearly day.
But